Full name.
Matthew Anthony Kost. I was part of a general music class in my school. It had a lot of focus on arts at the time, and my music appreciation teacher, because every sixth grade was required to do music appreciation, art, or a ensemble. So it was either wind ensemble or a choir, because there was two music directors there. And I was in my music appreciation class with the band director, and there was this, we would go through different songs, talk about our feelings, why we like this one, what kind of genres we liked. And there was this one unit, it was kind of in the fall, towards the beginning of towards the end of the first semester, that she pulled out drum pads. And every student got a drum pad, but we had to provide our own sticks. And so I sat there and she taught us quarter notes, eighth notes, just time signatures and all of that. And I started to fall in love with that. And before then, my parents, none of my parents are musical. None of my grandparents are musical. And so music was never in my family. We would go to church and we would, listen to the worship band and sing along, but that was kind of the extent of what my family did. So to get this opportunity to do music, which was so different from when my dad pushed me to do sports. I did baseball growing up, t-ball, all the way up until really sixth grade when I started doing music. But after that unit where we had the drum pads, I went up to the band director and I said, you know what, I like this. I want to continue this. And she said, well, I have an opening as a percussionist in beginning band. And I said, well, what's percussion? And so she unlocked a whole realm. And so I started percussion at the end of my sixth grade year. And I did snare drum, bass drum, cymbals. We did a little bit of marimba. I really liked the timpani. Timpani was cool because you go boom. I really liked that, so that was fun. And after I learned a lot of the different percussion instruments, I made an intermediate band beginning of seventh grade. But I was like, you know what? I saw other instruments in the band, and I saw a clarinet, and I didn't know what it was called. I just remember saying, Mrs. Saarinen, who was my band director, I was like, I want to play that instrument. What is that? It just looks like a long black stick. And she's like, well, it's a clarinet. So I went up home and I said, Dad, I want to play the clarinet. And they're not musical, so they didn't know what it was either. So we looked online before Amazon. So we went on eBay and we found a clarinet there. And, that's when I started to read music, read notation. My teacher gave me a book. It was a clarinet and ensemble book. And I just remember reading through the pages, learning, key signatures, reading how to do the notes on the staff. And I learned that for about 2 weeks while the clarinet was being shipped. As soon as the clarinet got shipped to my house, I immediately read through the entire book in one day. Because I studied it so much, I was practicing with pencils, trying to get the fingerings down, and it just opened a whole new world. When I joined high school, I switched from alto sax to tenor sax because they really needed tenor sax. It was a brand new high school, new band teacher, brand new band. And I was one of the only kids with experience that came from the middle school. And at the end of my high school career, actually end of my 11th grade year, I had a friend. We were all band geeks. We were all, in jazz band, concert band, and pep band, and marching band. There was a choir sign up. And at the time, band choir kids didn't really get along. We would make fun of each other, basically. Band geeks, choir nerds, that's what we would say. And my friend said, I dare you to sign up and audition. And I said, I'm not going to audition. And so he said, I'll do it if you do it. And I said, okay. So I signed my name up. And sure enough, went into the audition. I got a part in the choir. And that choir director ended up leaving my senior year. So, I made it end of junior year, so senior year would have been my only year of choir. So a brand new choir director came, who ended up actually becoming one of my best friends. He was one of my groomsmen when I got married.
Wow.
And
how much older was he than you?
About 7-8 years.
Okay.
So, I still contact him regularly. He's a choir director. And he kind of changed my whole life. Wow. Because I wanted to be a band teacher, band instructor, and I had my eyes set to a school called Azusa Pacific University. Well, he didn't go to Azusa Pacific. He kind of went to its rival school, California Baptist University. And so he got me an audition, and I ended up getting a pretty good scholarship at that school, and had long conversations with my parents who wanted me to go to the other school, but I ended up going to California Baptist University. And what I thought I was going to study band instruction, I ended up doing band, choir, and general music. So my senior year completely changed every direction I was going in music.
Wow.
And it was just a random dare. A random dare. When I saw a new instrument, I saw the way it sounded, I'm like, oh, I want to try. I just want to dabble with everything. And so I went from clarinet to the saxophone, because I was like, saxophone sounds so cool, it's so jazzy. And then my 8th grade year, the band director needed a tuba player for the advanced band. And so she was like, Matt, you want to try it? And I'm like, heck yeah, give me an instrument, I'll do it. And so I switched to tuba, had to learn bass clef, and totally different realm, embouchure is completely different, you're doing that instead of, blowing on a reed. But it was fun. I went to a very strict music college. I'm a big fan of theory. I love theory. And to be able to have classes designated just for theory instruction was awesome. And I was a part of 7 different ensembles, so it was a little hectic. My senior year, I took it down a little bit because of senior recital. But I don't know, when you're with like-minded individuals, it's a lot different from high school. You get a lot more done, and you do a lot more complex music. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it's just a different element. And it's, you're doing a lot of chamber work, and I had a blast to be with like-minded individuals. It was a great time. My senior year of college, I was getting ready for senior recital. I proposed to my now wife, and that was in January of my last year. And so we were going into our senior recitals with no job, with no place to live. We're engaged, and we're like, oh, what are we going to do? And so, I applied to so many different places. I applied to be a choir director. I applied to be a band director. The last thing that I was going to do was teach general music. I was like, I don't want to work with kids. I want to work with high school students or middle school students. And I did so many interviews, never got any spots. They always pick someone else. And eventually, my wife found a general music job up here in the Bay Area, because she's from up here and I'm from Southern California. And she said that there was another spot open. And I'm like, I'm not going to teach kids. I don't want to teach kids. I don't like kids. And sure enough, when you're getting desperate, your wedding's in a few months, you're like, you need money. I applied, got the job within like 4 or 5 days, and packed all my stuff within a week and moved up to the Bay Area. And it was so quick. It was within 2 weeks, everything changed. And I remember walking in thinking, oh, I don't know if I can teach 4th and 5th grade. And here I am a few years later, and I can't imagine doing anything different. It's been a blast seeing the joy of music in children. And I teach transitional kindergarten all the way to 8th grade now. And that's something I never thought I would ever do. I thought it was going to be band or choir, and now general music in elementary school. So it's been a wild ride. I first heard of S-Jam from my wife's mom, who sang in a choir with Ophelia, who's the music director here, and she was in need of a choir director. And I was actually looking to start doing a choir after school for one of my schools that I teach at regularly. And so she gave me the contact information to Miss Ophelia, and I, ended up doing an interview and came up here on a Friday after work, and she was like, you ready to start tomorrow? So I was like, start tomorrow? What are you talking about? We haven't even talked about anything. And so the next day we started, and it was kind of crazy, kind of hectic. And one of the other teachers ended up dropping out because of health reasons, and so I went from being just the choir instructor to doing piano and voice, and now flute. I have a flute student, so it was kind of a whirlwind. And this, I just recently got hired. I started in April, a couple weeks after my birthday, and been here now since then. So piano, voice, any of the woodwinds. I play all the woodwinds. You have to double on all of them when you're playing in college. So I do the woodwinds and the voice and piano. I find comfort coming to SJAM because I think the staff is amazing, and I've made great friends, and it's nice teaching children who are here to learn music. Because, you know, I teach general music in the schools, and, you know, not every kid wants to be in music class. And so you kind of have a couple knuckleheads that, you know, try to make it a little difficult for you. But to be here and to have students who, you know, have a passion, are driven, you know, by parents, you know, they have a lot of parental support here. It's nice seeing what we can do, and I've seen students grow tremendously, that I've never seen before in other students. So it's a unique opportunity here, and I've had fun. You know, growing up in the state of California, there was a time when music was being cut off, and not everyone had the opportunity to do music. And, you know, we kind of learned our lesson, you know, a couple of years later, that as soon as music started dropping, test scores started dropping. And as they started bringing arts in, you know, there's more of an excitement to go to school. And it's funny, you know, you wouldn't think that music would help increase test scores, but for some reason, when you give students a chance to express themselves in a way that's not paper, in a way that, you know, they're connected to. I mean, our whole culture is involved in music. We have music in our cars, we have music on our TVs, we have music in the radio stations, and music's everywhere. And there's so many different genres. But to be able to have quality instruction and understand, you know, what are the sounds I'm hearing? How do I relate this to nature around us or to my own life? I see students, you know, with more of an excitement for life and happier. My students tend to be happier when they have music instruction versus none. Because at one of my schools, I teach TK, kindergarten first, and I don't teach second grade, and then 3, 4, 5. And you can see how excited the second graders get, or when they become third graders, they're like, yes, finally we get music. We don't have to do something else. So it's nice seeing that. And I would encourage anyone to continue music lessons and to start music lessons. Now, the first step is to call and set up an interview with one of the teachers. I mean, we do interviews to talk about our teaching styles. We do practice lessons to, you know, try out different instruments if you don't know if you want to start with drums, or you don't know if you want to start with guitar or piano or voice. You know, our teachers are so willing to be able to work with you and figure out an instrument to start your child with music education. And don't think that it's just one instrument. I mean, there's a whole world of endless possibilities of starting music instruction. And so I would encourage the first step just to call and set up an appointment with one of the teachers. My name is Matthew Anthony Kost, and I'm an instructor here at the San Jose Academy of Music.